Hey guys, Rich here. Welcome back to the RCINFORMER YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the first in a new line of 1100mm warbirds coming from Banana Hobby. Yep, Banana Hobby, guys, is making a comeback with a special emphasis on after-sales customer service and support. Now, I've been talking with my viewers about Banana Hobby and have they been buying things, and guys have been saying, yeah, I've been getting things from them lately, and the service and support has been really great. So they're going to be focusing on parts, service after the fact on these 1100mm, and also the 105mm EDF jets that we're going to be showing you here on RCINFORMER, like the L39, which is on the channel, so check that out. RCINFORMER is going to be pretty much your go-to spot to see those airplanes. So check back, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you guys get alerted to when we put videos of the new airplanes out. So this is going to be a Spitfire Mark 24. Now, I've never flown a Spitfire before or put one together, so this is going to be a first for me. I've flown just about every other warbird kind of under the sun, and I'm kind of dying to get into this thing. So be sure to check the links in the description below, because not only will you have links for these airplanes, but there will also be a link down there for the email for Carrie the Jet Girl. She's the girl in charge at Banana Hobby who's bringing all the new customer service and support you know, to Banana Hobby. So contact her if you need anything, but check out the website, which again, I'll put the links in the description below. So this is a 3-cell airplane, so I'll be flying this on the SPEKTRUM 3-cell 2200. Also the NX6, the newest in the lineup of radios, you know, coming from Horizon Hobby. So we'll be showing you all of this kind of stuff. I'll have a receiver to put in here. I'm going to do my best, guys, to do this in I'm doing a different format today. Normally you guys see me with the thing on the ground there, but I'm trying to do a little different format today. So if you guys like what you see here, just comment below. Let me know what you guys think of how we're doing this. I'm trying this with a new camera today, new zoom lens, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to try this in sort of a different fashion today. Mostly because I have a smaller model to show you. But this is a beautiful airplane, guys. Check this out. I haven't had it out of the box at all, because you can see it's all taped and everything. So you know, you got to pull this thing out the tape, so clearly I have not had this out of here. This has a really cool down here 5-bladed prop, and we'll try to get that all together for everybody, or at least show it to you here in this video so you all can see what this thing looks like. But you can see how nice this thing is. I'll put this box right down here so y'all can see the wing, and then you can see the fuselage in there. It looks like we've got a spinner right here. Over on this side we got your rudder and your air-cool scoops and your fuselage kind of taped in there. So what we're going to do is we'll just get this thing out of the box, just sort of one piece at a time. And what I'll do is I'll put the wing down here, just kind of lean it down here, and then we will get this whole thing out of here. So with some scissors here, folks, which I'm going to grab down here, and I probably will edit this a little bit for time so everybody can kind of so I can kind of shrink it down and make this a little shorter, but I'll try and keep as much of this kind of real time as I can. It's interesting because they really have this thing taped. You can see here it's totally taped down in here, so it doesn't move anywhere, so it kind of stays all together. And I'm going to try and get it out of here for you guys as best I can. So here, let's see, we'll get this out of here. Lots and lots of tape, much different than the foam crates. I would imagine that this probably helps them, you know, cut down on costs and everything, because, you know, you don't have to they don't have to spend the money on the foam crates. They can just spend a little money on probably taping all this in here. But once we get this all out of here, we'll show you guys what everything is like here. So there is a spar down here. It looks like there's tail pieces. This is like a lot of cutting to do. So let's get all this out of here. But I'm trying to do this so you guys can get an idea of what this is really like, getting this whole thing out of here. So even down here at the bottom, there's a spar right here kind of taped in. So, you know, we got to pull that thing on out of there. So, man, they don't want you to get down to that thing, do they? Let's see. Pull this thing up. We'll get down in here. And there you go. There's the spar. Again, folks, I'll probably do a little bit of editing on this just to kind of edit it for time, so you guys don't have to watch me, you know, take everything out of this box. And look, yep, the tape is sticking to everything. So be aware, guys. There's lots of tape here. So let's get the fuselage over here, and let's get the wing off of here. Let's get this thing. We'll kind of cut all of this off of here. Here we go. Let's see. It's definitely easier with a foam crate, I can certainly say. But again, this probably is what cuts down on the cost for them, is by doing this with tape and not really needing, you know, a foam crate so much. So let's see here. Get all this off of here. Try and get as much of this as we can. Yep, lots of tape, lots of tape. One thing I'm not seeing yet is instructions, so I don't know if there's an instruction manual in here or something, but honestly, with a plane like this, you really don't need too much instructions. Probably everything you kind of know where it goes, sort of. Pretty simple plane. Yeah, lots of tape here. Trying to do this without cutting into anything. Parts everywhere, foam everywhere. And then we'll pull all this off of here. Yeah, it doesn't want to come off. I tell you, the nice thing about this is that with all of this stuff taped down, I don't think you're going to have anything damaged, or really not too much damage, because it can't rattle around, can't roll anywhere. Yeah, let's see. Let's get this out of there. Lots of tape, lots of tape. All right, let's see. We'll get this off of here, and we will individually, let's see if anything over there. Nope, nothing's over there. We will individually just cut everything on out here. It's sticking to my tabletop even here. So let's see, we'll get all the parts out. Here's a spar. Let's see, we'll get the main wing out of here. Let's see. We'll just do this. Get this all cut out. Let's see what we got. Get this whole thing. All right, let's see if we can pull the wing out of here. I'll cut the end of the wing off. All right, let's see what we got. All right. All right, here's the wing coming out. It gets real vibrant once you pull everything off. Look at check out the detail on that thing. Look how nice that is. Yeah, nice panel lines all the way around. It looks like you have to put all your horns, rods, linkages, and all that stuff on, but that's pretty easy. That stuff is pretty straightforward. We'll go back wide. We'll put all this stuff down here. Yeah, I'm trying out my remote control, folks, to see how well that thing does. And then here's our totally mummified fuselage wrapped up in this. So let's get our scissors here, and we'll start cutting some of this off of here. And we'll get these pieces out. All right, let's see what we got. Wow, this is yeah, it's more work than I thought to get into this thing. I mean, they got it taped up pretty good. Like I said, full mummification of this thing. But I tell you what, it is well protected. They got it all kind of tucked away in here. So let's see what we got. All right, we'll pull this out of here. Yeah, man. It's almost like they don't want you to get into this thing. Now, let's see what we got here. All right, that thing's coming out. Let's see what we got. Yeah, that's nice. Look at that fuselage here. Once you get it out of plastic, the color really starts to show up. It's very, very nice. Yeah, real nice model. Looks like we've got some guns here, some detail. And let's see what we got. So we'll pull the tail fins out. See these things. All right, we'll cut into these. Cut this here. Here we go. We'll get these out of here. All right. You can see when you take them out, the color really comes alive. They really light up. Look at that. Real nice. Nice parts. Nice parts. So I don't think do these glue it? No, these screw in. So these are nice. They'll go in there real well. We'll get all these plastic pieces out of here. Let's see. All right, here's your scoop underneath. That's pretty neat. Looks like I think that's a chin scoop, I believe. Yeah, that's going to go probably right there. So we'll get that all together. Let's see. We'll get this out of the bag. Not sure why they got Ziploc bags, because it's all taped up, you know. All right, we'll get that out of there. I'm not sure. No, that's not a piece. There's your underwing scoops. And let's see what else we got. The spinner. Man, this is a nice spinner, folks. Again, 5-bladed prop on this, so I'm pretty impressed. This is going to be cool. Let's see. I love 5-bladed props. It just looks like a Cuisinart. Yeah, very cool, very cool. So let's put that down there. And there's the center screw that goes through there. That's kind of a long spinner. And then here, let's take, open this up, get all our prop blades out. All right, and we'll put everything down here. Let's see, there's our blades. There's our hub. There's actually a prop hub, very cool. And then we'll get all these, geez, a lot of screws in here. Let's see, let's pull that out of there. The tape off of this. All right, here we go. Pull this thing off of here. Let's see, here's rods, horns, and linkages. And we'll take a look here. We'll put all these down here. We'll check all those out. And we'll see what we got here. All right, I think that's about it, guys. So let's lay out everything, and we'll see how this all looks. Okay, this is it, folks. I've got all the pieces out now. I'm just gonna arrange everything for everybody to sort of see, and we'll review everything here. The first thing we're looking at here really is the fuselage. Real nice. I'm looking at it sort of the first time myself, and just sort of showing you guys here what it looks like. I'll get zooming in on here so everybody can really see how nice this looks. You can see the detail on this baby. It's nice because these little edges are plastic, so you can't really ding those up. And I like the tail. Look at the logo on the tail. Let's zoom in on that. See how close we can get in on that. And the Squadron Royal Air Force Strike. So I hope you guys can see that okay. And really nice details on it. Trim tabs, ball links, and everything. So that tail section's real nice. Let's see, we'll go up with a little bit. Tail wheels right back there. Looks like we've got some cooling holes coming out of the back here. A little bit of blurble of glue there, but that's kind of, you get a little of that. That's your exhaust cooling. Again, plastic pieces right here. Looks like our speed controller and everything's in there. Servos are mounted. Again, our chin scoop is right there. And then here's our motor up front. That's all ready to go. It looks like it's got a really nice hex drive on it. You guys can see that baby right there. Again, guys, I'm doing this for the first time this way just to show you guys the detail. I like the rivets everywhere, so a lot of good intake cooling for everybody to see here. Real nice exhaust stacks and everything. Really cool detail there. And the cockpit. There's no pilot in there, but you could probably put one in there. You may have to go in through underneath. And I'm kind of surprised they didn't put a pilot in there, but a little bit of cockpit detail there you guys can check out. And it looks like we got an antenna or something that's going to go kind of right back there, so you can see that. Anyway, hatch here opens up. You can see in there. That's where our battery's going to go, and we'll talk more about that kind of as we get into flying this thing. Looks like the strap is here for the battery, but I'll check the CG. And this is all magnetic, folks. Tongue and groove design. As you can see there, it snaps right on. And here, we'll back away from that a little bit. But overall, real nice, guys. The color's awesome. They also have this thing actually in a really cool desert camo. But you can see here how nice this thing looks. It's a really nice nice model. I like the color. So it looks like the wings are going to go on. Looks like with it looks like it's going to have self-tapping screws. There's actually 4 of them that go. Looks like 2 here and then 2 right here. So 4 to get the wing on in one piece. And then it looks like your rudder or your horizontal stabilizer. That's all going to go on with just 2 screws and the spar. There's the spar that's going to really go through there. In fact, I'm going to actually start off with just kind of putting that through there. So that's going to be ready to be put on the airplane, and we'll get to that here next. And here's the wing again. We got wing lights. I'll see if I can zoom in for everybody on that and see if I can get some zoom on that. Actually, that's going to be kind of hard to do. Let's try here. Get the camera to focus on that. There we go. There's a wing light right in there. So 2 wing lights on this thing. Let me back off a little bit and show you guys the detail of this. Really pretty darn slick. I'll get close on it so y'all can see. You guys can see the detail of this. It's got nice decals all the way along it. There's your landing gear in there. It looks like right here is where we're going to put one of the guns, which we can just kind of slide on there right away, and then or actually towards the end. But really nice plastic flap. You can see this is actually pretty cool. It's a very detailed split flap, and then there's your aileron. Foam hinges all the way around. Looks like they are laminated, so you get a lot of A lot of, in fact, they are, yeah, you can see the shininess. They're laminated, very tough. This is one of those planes, again, that you've got to put the rods, the horns, and the linkages on, so we'll get to doing that just little at a time. But here you can see the detail of this thing. It's pretty darn cool. The color's beautiful. I mean, it just really stands out. Those yellow wingtips are really going to light up when we really get to kind of flying this thing around. So anyway, there we go, guys. That's what you're seeing there. Very nice retracts, little details there. This is where our scoops are going to go. I'm not sure if these are side specific, but it looks like those are just going to kind of plug right in there. They probably are, so I'll mess with that and figure out which one is actually going to go into which side. But again, retracts are all set up, all ready to go. Yeah, very nice detail to see. So the overall finish looks very nice. You know, it's typical of a foam airplane, but very cool. I'm really liking how this looks. It's very sharp. The color's very good. So, and then we got our tail surfaces. Those are right here. I'll zoom in on those for everybody. You can see how the quality is on these things. You can see me up close as well. So. Looks like there's the spar is going to run right through here. You got a single screw down here to put this on with. You've got, again, foam style hinges here, folks, that you know, are laminated. They're not breaking there. That's just the paint that's kind of coming off. And then they have this really nice, this very nice D fitting, or actually it's a rectangular fitting. And your spar is going to go right through, and then these will join together. So pretty nice. The horn is mounted right here for moving this thing. You do want to exercise these a little bit before you go fly, or before you put this thing together. Just get them all kind of worked out, and so they're moving a little bit, but real nice. You can see the finish on these things. I'll go ahead and I'll zoom in so you guys can get the close-up detail. This is what I always show you guys, to give you guys full detail of what this stuff looks like and how nice this stuff is. We'll flip it around. You guys can see up close. So anyway, guys, please comment on this format and see if you guys like it the way I'm doing it this way. And I may end up doing this live for everybody too, if you guys want to see more live shows like this. But real nice. Scoops right here, folks. Those are your underwing scoops. And here's your hub. We'll take a look at your prop hub. It's pretty neat because it's actually painted. You can see the detail on it. It's very nice with the 5 blades of prop that, you know, this all goes together. You know, you pretty much just throw each one of these in here and you bolt it down, and then that's your hub. And this whole prop hub is going to go within the spinner here. So you can see, I'm not sure if I have it the right way exactly, but this will actually go on like this, and then your whole prop hub here and your spinner and everything, that's all going to just go together. And that's how each of those, so it's 5 bladed props. So we'll get that together for everybody so you guys can see how cool that thing really is. So other details on this thing, guys, you have your guns, cannons, actually, really probably what those are, your under scoop, chin scoop, and then this little antenna that actually I'll just kind of widen out here. That's a detail we'll put on after the fact. You can see that's actually just going to fit right down in there. It looks like it's a very nice fit, and let's see how that goes in. You can see the fit on that baby. That's just going to really slide right in there. Yeah, very good. That probably looks like that's going to be real easy to break that off. So we'll be careful getting that on there. So really, the first thing you want to start with you know, a plane like this, anytime you're putting this together and you have these parts, it's actually, there's very little work to do. In fact, the most work you're going to do is actually putting on the rods, the horns, and the linkages and all that kind of stuff, which is mostly these. And there's only a few. Beauty is too, is everything's labeled here. You'll be able to see that you know, you've got your ailerons, you've got looks like your flaps, and you've got your elevator, and you've got your rudder. So I'll zoom in on those so everybody can see. All very nicely labeled, very nicely packaged. Everything's Z-bended. They're all really nice. In fact, I'm going to get in on the detail of this so you guys can see. They are all really nice hardware and ball links. You can see just how nice, you know, those things really are. And it looks like there's you know, there's just your typical screw in, but they look real nice with the quality of that ball link. So, you know, very cool. So And that's about it, guys. Let's start putting this thing together. Now, I decided to start with the wing, getting all my rods, horns, and linkages on there. And you can see through this shot right here, all my rods, horns, and linkages are installed here as follows. I wasn't really too concerned with the actual position of the Z-bend. I just put them in a hole just to get a baseline on them, and after I get the plane powered up, I'll set those. We'll talk about that during the flight demo. But essentially, the horns go on the same way, except for notice that the ailerons just have this little back plate here with 2 screws, and those 2 screws, they go through to the other side and they screw down through, and they thread actually into the horn side, which is a little backwards than I'm used to. And then you have just a ball link on your rod where your bolt goes through, and you put a nylon lock nut through. Flaps are essentially almost exactly the same thing, except you can see here that when you lift the flap up here, which I'm going to do just to sort of show you, the screws actually go through the back side of this thing, and they tap actually into the horn itself. So, and then again, the positioning of the Z-bend is not really all that critical for right now. I'll know that more when I set it up, and again, I'll talk about that during the flight demo. Most important thing to note, folks, is that you don't do what I did. I'm going to flip this around to show you. Be careful not to over tighten the ball link and the nylon lock nut, because if you do, you can crack one of these. So here's a real prime example of like what not to do. See how that has that little tiny crack right in there? Not a big deal. I'll unscrew this, I'll back it out, I'll put a little CA on there and just kind of make it a little more solid there before I tighten it back up again. But just be careful you don't crack those. And that's pretty much it for, you know, getting your horns, your rods, and your linkages on your wing. Now the rudder linkage, it goes on pretty much you know, just like the wings go on. You put your horn right through this side, and you can see how that fits in like that. You've got your back plate with the screws through it. We're just going to put that through there, and then we're going to take our screwdriver and we're going to tighten everything up. So it actually fits through this back plate pretty nice. There is a lot of plastic there that's going to go through. Difference is the ball link is actually already on the airplane. You want to make sure that you don't, you know, over tighten any of this stuff, but you just want to make sure you tighten it so that that plate right there goes flush and it doesn't compress the foam too much. You get that just about where it's on there, and then your ball link goes on. You'll take your rod. If you need to adjust it, you have to, but you basically just take your screw. I'll grab my my 1.5 millimeter here. I'll unscrew that just to get that out. It looks like they had that a little bit too tight, and then I'll kind of push this down a little bit, and that will allow, the tail wheel linkage is really nice. It's actually a nice aluminum arm that drives that, and you can set it this way, which is really cool. It looks like they probably just didn't turn this ball link in tight enough, so this is the kind of stuff that you sort of figure out along the way as you do this. And as we're looking at it, it looks like this ball link is probably going to settle on top of this this horn here. So that's kind of how I'm going to do this thing. So we'll take our horn, or take our screw. You can see here, I'll put this through the top of this thing, and we'll go through the outer hole. We'll start with that one first. We'll see if we can get that in there, tighten that up. Grab our nut driver here, our 1.5 millimeter, and we'll go through here. Let's see, we'll tighten that up, get it to go through there. Challenging, isn't it? So we'll get that to go through there. Once we got that most of the way through, we'll take our nut on the back side, just like we did with all the wings, with all the wing rods, and we will put that in place. So get that to spin in place. We'll grab our little wrench here, which you may not have one of these, but you know, you can hold it with pliers or something. Again, don't over tighten this. You don't want to crack that horn, which you kind of can do pretty easily. Let me take a look at that myself, make sure that's on there right. You may have to turn it a few times. Looks like we got that in place. And that's about it, folks. That's pretty much how your tail linkage goes on there, really just like the wings went on. And then you have your rudder. Now once we neutralize our servo and everything, then we can you know, lock in our tail wheel with this set screw right there. So our rudder and our tail wheel are lined up and pretty much just moving the same. Now when it comes to putting the elevator on, it's really just this simple. There's a single bag marked elevator, there's 2 self-tapping screws, and there is a 2mm bolt and a 2mm lock nut, just like the wings were, and it's really just as simple to put this on. You can notice here, as you slide these on, we already put our spar in place. We'll slide these in position. It's real important to note though, what I found was a big problem was trying to get this thing on here with all of this paint. You can see by taking a hobby knife, if you can scrape away a bunch of this paint, that will help you slide this on easier. It was really tough to get it on without at least taking some of this, some of that paint off. So we basically just slide that end in, and then we'll go ahead, once we got that in place, I'll flip the airplane upside down, and we'll pretty much do the same thing for the other side. We'll slide this on. Notice I already took all the paint off of this tab right here. Right down there, and then we'll slide this one on. And as you get this in place, you'll also want to make sure that right down in here, you'll see that you want to make sure both of those halves are together. You slide that in, and we should be good to go. You have to make sure that these screw holes are lined up. This one right here, okay, with the plastic on the inside, and then the one that's down here on the bottom right here. If these holes are not lined up, which mine at first weren't, I had to remove the paint to get these things in far enough to get those things in order to get those to kind of engage. So once we got it all kind of lined up like this, we will go ahead here and we'll take our 2 screws out of here, our self-tapping. We'll put the 2 of these things in place. I usually find it's easier when you're doing this to take your screwdriver first, and especially if it's magnetic. If you got a magnetic one, you're usually lucky to do it that way. Just drop that in there, screw that one in place. Same thing with the other one. Put that one in place, and we'll start that one going as well. So we get the 2 of those in there. This is one instance where you've got the ball link already on the rod, so you have to put your elevator on first before you can get your ball link on. So you can see right here, I think initially these actual horns here were not really intended necessarily to have a ball link on them. I think they were actually originally meant to have a clevis on them. So, but whatever way it's easiest, you just go ahead and you just thread this thing in place. You can see here that you'll need some sort of needle nose on the other side to get this this lock nut in place. Just make sure that once again, just like we did with the wing, we just want to make sure that we do not over tighten that nut so we do not crack the plastic horn. But that's it. We have our horn and our rod and our ball linkage in place. Now to finish up the wing, there's really just 5 pieces to put on. There's these 2 scoops that are going to fit right inside these notches right here. There's this center scoop that we're just going to put some foam tack on, and we're going to kind of glue that just right onto the center. I would use foam tack. You can use foam safe CA, actually that's just as good. I would use the Zap stuff though if you're going to use it. It's just better stuff. And then we've got our 2 guns here. These, same thing, a little bit of foam tack or a little bit of foam safe CA, and we are just going to glue these onto the leading edge, and I'll give you guys a better look at that. We'll zoom right in on here, and you can kind of see how those guns look. Again, they just slide right into this pocket here. That's all they are. They just fit right in there. So again, foam safe CA or foam tack is really the way to go to glue those on there. And then the center scoop, again, just a little bit of foam tack or CA right there. And then here's the deal about the scoops. The scoops actually there are wires, and I'll zoom in on that if I can get in there. Let's see. You can see right here, there's actually wires that run through these taped areas right here. And you can see what I did to this one. I just took a little hobby knife and very carefully taking a knife, and not a real sharp knife either, I just very carefully just cut along these until I just sort of run into the wire. Obviously you don't want to cut the wire. You have to be very, very careful when you do that. But you can see what I did is, as I did that, what I did is I basically just made a channel or an area for these little channels right here. There's two of them. There's one here and there's one here, so those will fit right in. So, and you'll just use, again, foam tack or foam safe CA to put the two of those in, and that's going to pretty much do it for getting all of the details on the wing. And again, here's how it's going to look. You'll have two scoops, you'll have two guns, and you'll have just a chin scoop right here, and that's pretty much it for the wing, and we're ready to kind of put all the big pieces together now. Okay guys, now that we got the big pieces completed, the tails are on, we're ready to go. I went ahead and I pulled the hatch off, pulled the wires through here, because we're going to need to pull the wing wires through this whole area. Also make sure the wires are not in here and they're kind of pulled through the front, the top side. And also what we want to do is you know, clear these holes out of the front. These are your 4 wing screws where they're going to go into. They're all plastic. I had to take a spike actually and stick a spike in each one and kind of round them out a little bit, and then take your wing screws, which are you know, right here, and I had to do just a rough kind of tap in there to make sure they were tapping in there, so when we do get the wing on, they should go in there a lot better. So using my Ernst stand here, because those are really the best tabletop stands around for sure. We'll go ahead and get the wing on. Wing's completed. You can see here all the details are on it. We got our scoops on, our guns on, our center scoop, and we're ready to go on. Now also, I pulled the tape off of all the wires. There was a bunch of tape holding this thing down. Also check these connections. I did put out a video on my channel about how to tighten your electrical contacts to save your plane, so check that out. I would check all the connections on all your planes, or better yet, don't check all of them, just check the ones that you want to not fail. That's probably the good way to go, folks, because sometimes you can have one loose connection, and you know, that can be it for your plane. So anyway, you can see I'm pulling through the top or the bottom of the plane here to get all those wires to go through. And we're going to kind of seat this down as we look through, make sure there's no wire snagging, and that looks pretty good. So we'll just kind of seat this in place, and we should be good to go. And here's where I ran into a little problem getting these things to tap. And let me see if I can angle the airplane towards everybody a little bit. There are 4 screw holes, and sometimes these don't line up that great, you know, and if they don't, then you know, you got to wiggle them around a little bit and get them to find that center hole there. So they ought to bevel those plastic holes, but they don't always do that kind of thing, so we'll see. Let's see how these go in. I'll start with this one. Let's get that, yep, I can feel that biting into the plastic already. I think this was the one that was really not originally, yep, no, that one's biting now too. And let's see, this one's going, and I can feel that. Let's see if this one, yep, all 4 are biting. Now initially when I stuck it on there, they really weren't. So, and I had to take, again, a spike or something and just stick it in that hole and kind of widen it, or just get your screw in there and start threading it and get some threads tapped into that plastic, and then we should be good to go. So I'll tighten this up. I usually always use my finger, a finger along this seam as I am tightening it, and I can feel as I'm tightening that screw, I can feel that seam coming together, and that way you don't over tighten. You can feel when it's getting tight. And then as you look down onto your actual doubler there, which is the plastic area right around the screw, you can see that if it starts indenting, then it's getting to be too tight, so you don't really need it that tight. I'll tighten this one up a little bit as well. I got my finger by the side, and then you can see it starting to crease the foam. You can see little bends start to happen. If you're doing that, it's actually over tightened, so you don't really need to go that tight with it. So I'll get the front screws on, same deal. I got my thumb down on that seam, just trying to feel it getting tight, and it is getting plenty tight. And same thing down here. I'll put my finger down on that gap as I tighten this, and you can kind of feel it come together, and we should be good to go. And that's it, folks. That is the main construction of the Mark 24 Spitfire. So let's now go ahead and get the prop assembled and get the last antenna on, and then we can probably bind it up and go. Now the last part to assemble really is the prop, spinner, and hub, and I think this is probably one of the coolest details on the entire airplane. It's just really neat when you have, you know, a 5-bladed prop. It just really has such a good look to it. There's 5 prop blades. We've got our hub here ready to go. We've got our screw bag here, which is really all it is just 5 screws and lock nuts. Now these are 3mm metric. I'm just going to throw those in there, and assembling this is probably a little bit more challenging than you might think when you have 5 prop blades. So normally what you have to do is you have to kind of lay them all down flat, which is what I'm going to attempt to do here. And I'm going to pull the screws off. I'm going to lay these down flat, all of them, so they're just kind of lined up. It's kind of hard to see from the angle of the camera exactly what I'm doing here, but if I can just get the 5 of these on here, let's see how well this thing will fit together. And then I'll put the hub top on here. Let's see if we can get that to go in place. So it looks like I probably got it. Let's see, we'll tighten, we'll just hold it here, and you can see I got it kind of all together here. And then we can go ahead and start putting our screws in just one at a time. So I'll take the screws one at a time, just put them in there, get them to kind of bite in. Oop, lost a prop. Actually, you probably can do this one at a time now that I'm thinking about it. Just stick those kind of in place, and I think they do come out, so yeah, you could insert one at a time, I guess. Some props like this, you can't do that though. They have a locking mechanism that really just does not allow you to do that, but it looks like we can do this whole thing just one prop blade at a time. Just get those through there, and we'll get the nuts on in the back there one at a time. So let's see, we're getting that one's falling out. That's why that's not working. So we'll get that in place, and there we go. Just wiggle it, and you can see on the back side they'll start to come through a little bit. So just one at a time. It is actually some nice construction here. One at a time. Just stick your lock nut in there, and we'll take our socket driver here, which I actually have to find the right one. It looks like it's I think it's a 2.5mm. Actually, that's a screw. We'll just actually tighten that up, and so it bites that lock nut in the back. This is just, to me, this is like a fun part to put together because it's highly detailed. It actually fits very well. We'll tighten the 5 of these together. There we go. Get those in place. And the nice thing is they actually have the nut on the back side. You can see it's all, they've got the hex slot already set up for it, for the, you know, for the hex shaped nut. So each one of these can go into place. Let's see, I'll back that off, make sure that nut kind of falls into place. It's really not going in there, is it? Let's get that lined up. There we go. It's going in there now. And just all 6 screws. Let's see. Looks like those nuts do protrude out the back just a little bit. If you have to, just take your screwdriver, push your screw back in just a little bit so you can get the nut in there where it's supposed to be. Get that in place. Let's see here, and we'll get that one going. Let's see, all of those. So actually fairly simple. A lot of times these things are complicated. I thought it was going to be more so than it was. So let's get the last one on. There's 5 of these babies on there. Let's see here. We'll get that one in there. Tight fitting. They're actually very tight fitting, which is good. So line that up, get that one in there. I'm probably going to show you guys this whole part in the video because it's just such a cool propeller blade. 5-bladed props are just the neatest thing. They just look like a Cuisinart type deal, and they're just very intricate and very cool. So that's the back of it, what it looks like when it's done. Looks like the nuts do stick out a little bit. There's the front with the screws in there. And then we ought to be able to just put this on the airplane. So we'll get the airplane set up, and we'll put it on for you. Okay guys, with the completed propeller, we're ready to put this thing on. I'm just going to put it on for right now so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. But you know, we're going to be taking this off. You know, you want to take the prop off when you boot up the airplane. So we can take the prop nuts off and go ahead and just lock this thing in. It has a very nice hex drive like is pretty much the industry standard. That goes on there pretty darn nicely. Then our prop can go on, and man, that's cool. It looks like they even have slots back there. That's pretty cool. That's actually a very nice propeller, folks. Let me point that a little more directly towards the camera here. There's these 5 holes back here to actually receive the nuts. So it's pretty nice how that goes in there. So very positive lock. Your nut goes on that I just dropped, and then you spin it, spin it, spin it, and then let me reach down here and grab myself an open end wrench, which I don't have on hand. Let me grab one of these. I'll grab a little vice grip action here and just tighten it up just a little bit. I don't want to make it too ridiculously tight because you can crack the hub. This is a 3-cell airplane, folks, so you know it's not going to be spinning. There's not that much load on this thing. But once we got that on, we can go ahead and put our spinner on. Oh yeah, that looks nice. That is sharp. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I just dig 5-bladed props. Probably the coolest. Probably one of the coolest hubs around. And then we take our screw, very long 3mm metric screw, and we will put this thing in. So we'll get that going, get it in there, and see if we can get that in place. Just tighten it up a little bit. Yeah, and it gets a little bit tight, and there we go. Very cool prop, very cool hub. The gap looks pretty nice, and that's about it, folks. That is it for really getting this whole thing together. Oh, and I did forget the antenna. I took it off already because I knew I was going to break it off if I didn't. So I'm going to stick that right back there in that slot. I'll probably put on there, I'll zoom it in there. I'll probably put a little bit of, actually I'll probably use foam safe CA because there's not a lot of gap there, and that's probably the thing to glue that down with. But and that's about it, guys. That's it for pretty much for the Spitfire. But let's do this before we conclude. I'm going to go ahead and get a servo tester hooked up, and let's get the landing gear down and take a look at this thing when it's on its wheels. With just a simple servo tester, we're ready to extend the gear. We'll go ahead and we'll put this thing down. It's connected to just the landing gear line, so we can go ahead and extend it and get this thing on its wheels. Get all our wires out of there so we don't dent our foam. And we'll just go ahead and we'll turn the dial and get those wheels coming down. You can see how nice that is. We'll go ahead and zoom in on that so everybody can see how well it's working. It seems to be working well right out of the box. Also, folks, on this landing gear, there are E-rings on this thing. I just did a video about securing your E-rings anywhere you have one. This one doesn't have too many of them, but it does have some right on the hub, the axle. So I went ahead and I already put some on there. So just taking a little bit of foam tack, guys, just putting a little dab on there, just like I just did. Wet your finger if you have some sticking out like there is now, because I just did it a second ago, and just just dab it, and kind of it'll make a, because what it is foam tack won't stick to anything that's wet, and if you just wet your finger, stick it over that, you'll make like kind of a nice little dome of foam tack over that, and that'll keep your E-ring on so you don't lose it. While you're flying. But that's pretty much it, folks. Gear's working beautifully. The airplane is pretty much thoroughly complete. So let me get the hatch cover back on this thing, folks, and we'll go ahead and we'll wrap it up. Okay, guys, that pretty much concludes this video on the all-new 1100mm Spitfire Mark 24. Again, this is coming from Banana Hobby, guys. They got a lot of nice 1100mm coming, 105mm EDFs that we'll be showing you guys. I was actually pretty impressed with how this went together. I didn't have to search for any screws to fit. All the horn screws fit. The ball linkages are tough. And for me, the best of all, the decals were applied. Anytime you got to put decals on something, it's like a multiple-hour event to put them all on. So I was really pretty happy that we didn't have to do all that. But the guns, all of the scoops underneath, the tail fins, everything went together. All the screws were there. All the screws were the right length. Even this antenna back here, I'll pull that out of there. I hadn't glued this on yet. I'll put it on with a little bit of CA. We'll do that here shortly. Once I get everything done with this airplane, I usually glue those little details on. But very nice airplane. It is a mean looking machine. The front view on this thing with that 5-bladed prop built so well. It assembled so nicely. It's just a very cool looking airplane. It does have the wingtip lights on it. I'll get that all going for everybody. I'll get this out to the flying field really just as soon as I can for everybody. And I'll get the receiver in it. I didn't want to spend all that time doing it now. I'll get the receiver in it, get it trimmed and tuned, and I'll get it out to the flying field for everybody and give everybody just a demo of it. But nice detail, nice fit and finish. Good things are coming to Banana Hobby, guys. So check it out. Stay tuned because we'll have them all here for you guys. So that being said, guys, check out the links in the description below. Anytime you use our links, that supports our channel. If you click on links, put things in your cart and purchase them. At no cost to you. We do get little commissions for that, and that supports our channel, and we do appreciate that, guys. Otherwise, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell in the lower right hand corner of this video. That'll let you know when we got new videos coming out. You'll be the first to know. It will alert you to that. So anyway, and guys, please hit that like button. That like button is the thing that you guys can do for us. That's free to you guys, and that's the thing that triggers the YouTube algorithm to send our videos to more people. So we really appreciate you guys helping us out. So anyway, guys, stay tuned. We'll have a flight demo out for everybody shortly. Thanks for watching RC Informer, guys, and as always, we'll see you next time.